without you. Some personal story ideas. I can get back to our thing. What's our how do I, Jeff?
How do I model a healthy relationship for my children to learn from?
I have talked at length about this on many shows, including this one. So I'll keep mine short because I'm not sure if we've heard Joe's models, but mine absolutely is just being transparent, living out loud, apologizing for mistakes, discussing, those kind of things like, hey, this is what happened and I'm human and so on and so forth. But the biggest thing is if my wife and I have a fight, which is never quiet, even if you try to go behind closed doors, it's never quiet, right? When you're having a fight, we always made sure to apologize to each other in front of the kids as well. And to try to model that, along with charity work, giving, everything else, we said, hey, come with us. We're going to go do this thing to help people. That's how we've modeled it. I know everybody's heard this story. So, Joe, I want to hear yours. How do you model relationships, healthy relationships?
So my wife and I, we don't have a lot of arguments per se. And maybe that's just
that, right?
Well, and maybe that's just a phrasing, because we do have disagreements from time to time. And so it could be just our relationship with the term. But we don't yell at each other. It never comes to that. But we disagree. We have differences of opinion. There are definitely been times where we've disagreed on how to handle our business at home and whatnot, and we discuss it. And when our kids approach us, we are very supportive of each other, even if we don't always agree in the moment. We have a unified front, and we stick to whatever snap decision is made, and then we have a discussion on how we want to handle it in the future, rather than how it was handled the first time.
Your healthiness makes me sick, so.
And so, like, for instance, if I give the kids a punishment where I'm like, you can't have electronics tomorrow, really that ends up punishing my wife, because then she has to deal with kids who are fighting a lot more.
Sure.
Because that appears to be their default if they don't have a book or a video game or some other structured thing, is they fight, which we have been working very hard on making.
This is parenting plans. This is not how you model.
But that's part of it.
Okay.
That is the way you interact with your spouse is right. A huge. No, and I guess it's not
tomorrow, but are you doing it? Or sure you are having these discussions in front of the kids, or you're having them after they went to bed?
So we tell the boys that we will discuss later, and then the following day we will tell them a decision that was made. So we don't necessarily. Sometimes we'll discuss it in front of them, but not often. And so
what about like, I'm assuming you guys have family time where it's either story time or it's games or that kind of whole interaction. I imagine you really model some other relationship stuff there.
Yeah. So we strive to always have dinner together as a family. Regardless of what else is going on, we try to always have dinner together as a family, bare minimum, so that we can talk about how all of the kids' days went, and
oh, there you go.
Get a beat on that. Yeah. And so we try to be present and knowledgeable about what our boys are doing, both academically and socially. And we strive to help them create healthy relationships with, especially like parasocial relationships, because they're going to talk to a lot of people online. Now, a lot of the people they talk to over Discord are people that they know in real life. But
Yeah.
A lot of their interactions are online, and so there's a distinct difference in how they interact with their friends when it's over a Discord call versus when they're in person. And so we do have conversations with them about online etiquette and things like that. And so and the difference between being on a Discord call versus in a Discord chat, because it is a lot harder to understand the tone in a chat room versus in person in a Discord call. And so we have talked to them about things like that and how they phrase things, so that intent is more clear. And so it, beyond romantic relationships, every relationship is hard, but most of that comes down to communication. If you acquire skills to communicate effectively, that will help every aspect of your life.
And I'm not being funny. And if you don't have those skills, you go honest sometimes. And my step one, you talked about fighting. They like to get in arguments when they're 5, 6, 7, and they're 18 months apart. So whatever age, you can subtract that. So one day I just was like, because I'm not that person. I really had zero relationship with my sister at all. One of my best friends, his sister's psycho and has been spoiled all her life. And that was a bad situation. My wife and her brother apparently had an okay relationship. But now as adults, it's strained and it's weird. So I wanted to make sure that they had more of that TV Hallmark relationship of no matter what, we're family kind of deal, and we'll always have each other, because I don't want them feeling like I felt and having nobody in this world. So they get to fighting, and it finally went done. I mean, I'm talking about little pushing, little mouthing, little whatever, little angry. Like, no, stand right here, ball up your fists, punch each other. And they're like, and I tried to force them into doing it. I kind of pushed them into each other, like to start something. And of course, they didn't see. That's the thing; they didn't really want to fight, but I was making them confront it right then and there. Now, had either
it's like those people that tie their kids together or make them wear one giant shirt.
Stop jumping to the end, sir. Stop jumping to the end. So yeah, don't spoil the ending just because you've seen this whole anime 3 times. So they obviously didn't really want to fight, but I'm making them bluntly confront that. So I said, okay, since y'all won't actually punch it out, then here. And I went and got a t-shirt and put it over both elbows. Like, I set a timer on my watch or on my phone or whatever. It said 5 minutes. Guess who stopped fighting? But that's also because I never fought. And that's why I try to teach them is I don't have to fight. I get everything I want in life and the story. I work for it or work around it, but I get it. And yeah, so it's now I see the note here. I see the note. Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse, Joe.
It went for the cheese and got stuck.
Yeah. Malachi is in his tween angsty push all the buttons phase. Let Uncle Charlie for a weekend. The only rule is we don't talk about Fight Club. He can't come home and tell you what happened. That's all. So I'll fix that. I'll fix that real fast for you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he gets into downward spirals where he just keeps losing more and more privileges because he keeps trying to push the envelope.
We need America's Dad, Stephen H&H, on to talk about this, because I mean, you want to talk about spirals, man. You want to talk about the ARD method this John put up there. Yeah, no, Joe makes me sick with his healthy emotional relationships he has with his wife and his kids. I just can't stand it. But Stephen makes Joe look like me. And that makes me look like a child abuser, which I'm not. But, Stephen is, and he just wish Stephen was my dad. That's all I'm saying. So I would like to hear from you. How do you model your relationship? SpeakPipe is wiseandnerdy.com/calldad. And just 90 seconds. It sounds like it's short time, but it's not. You got a lot of time there. Just let us know, modeling relationships. I touched on the husband-wife thing. We touched on community, right? We touched on how we interact with people. And I will always deal with somebody that makes me angry. If my kids see it, then I will talk to them about that and what I was feeling, what I went through, because they don't always see the emotion on your face or what you're feeling, right? They don't always see that the anger or frustration or whatever. So
you just gotta strap them to a chair and make them watch Leave It to Beaver on reruns. Just keep watching it.
why are you triggering me? That's exactly what happened. I turned